Well, friends of the world, Maldini here from Santiago Bernabeu. The players of Real Sociedad are still here, and we see them after a tremendous, intense match. Madrid is in the Copa final, but in this match, which ended in a 4-all draw with extra time in an incredible game. I mean, let's see. I've titled the thumbnail Extra Life, because Real Madrid always has an extra life. And I have to say that the match was epic. Real Sociedad leaves with their heads held high after playing an epic match. But this won't console them, because the final will be played by Real Madrid. Once again, Real Madrid has managed to prevail in a match where they suffered a lot, having good phases and quite bad phases. Real Madrid. They had great individual talent in Vinicius, who made 2 absolutely phenomenal plays. In Jude Bellingham, who displayed impressive physical prowess. In Valverde's determination until he ran out of steam. And it was a match that I believe quite well defined the magic of this Copa del Rey. Tomorrow I will be commenting on the Atletico de Madrid-Barça game at the Metropolitano. What an incredible match. We've had 2 4-all draws in the 3 matches we played out of the 4 Copa del Rey semi-finals. This Copa del Rey is wonderful, what it's doing. And I want to say several things. First, Real Sociedad has stayed true to their style, pressing high. A team that went forward to press, and they have caused quite a bit of trouble for Real Madrid's build-up. There were moments when Real Madrid did manage to play out well with the ball, moments of good build-up from Madrid, but in the end, it wasn't enough for Real Sociedad. They pushed even harder. They played a good match. Yarzabal didn't understand the substitution of Barrenechea, who had scored the first goal. He also played a great match. Martin Zubimendi. Aguero's injury in the end also hurt them. I think it affected Real Sociedad. And there were moments when they were superior to Real Madrid. They maintained quite a bit of composure with the ball at many points. In the midfield with a great Zubimendi. And Madrid sometimes attacked dangerously, but it was very difficult for them. It was very difficult for Madrid to assert themselves. In fact, Madrid only really asserted themselves, in my opinion, during the usual phase we see at the Bernabeu, when Madrid is trailing in the score and in the match. There was a moment when Real Sociedad took the lead, 1-3, with less than 10 minutes left, and there we saw once again the surge from Real Madrid, which we often see in the Champions League and witnessed today in a flash. They created 2 goal-scoring opportunities, 3 goal-scoring opportunities, 2 goals, and a very clear chance that Vinicius had, causing Real Sociedad to fall apart. And Real Sociedad was able to recover and make it 3-4. Truly, what Real Sociedad did today has extraordinary merit, an extraordinary merit of Real Sociedad. And speaking of extraordinary, Vinicius is extraordinary, because it's true that there were moments in the match where he was making mistakes. There were things, but he tries. He never gives up in the attempt to break through, and he left us with 2 spectacular plays. The pass to Endrick, which I will talk about now, of course. I want the overtime and what happened in the match to overshadow what Endrick did, who is a sensational player. Absolutely sensational. But as I was saying, there were moments when Vinicius was a spectacle. The pass he made for Endrick's goal in Real Madrid's first goal in the 1-1 draw is magnificent. He uses the outside of his foot. And then the play he makes for Jude Bellingham's goal, when Real Madrid was suffering the most, when it was 1-3, and out of the final, the cut he makes on the wing, how does he get away? And then the pass he gives to Bellingham, who always ends up in the danger zone. Bellingham always ends up in the danger zone, well, sensational. Those 2 plays by Vinicius, Bellingham, very well done, with great ability. Tomorrow you will have the match ratings, of course, for both teams, because I don't want to forget about Real's match. The ability Bellingham has shown to move across all areas of the final third has been spectacular. He has been weaker, Rodrigo, it must be said. Mbappe has also been quite weak when he came on. I was surprised. It's true that he was already very worn out. Enrique, I was surprised that he was substituted despite the fatigue, because he was playing very well. Enrique is a footballer. Today we saw it. He's a star, an absolute star. Endrick would be a starter in 95% of the teams, certainly in the Spanish league, but I mean in the Champions League, I am convinced he would be a starter in 95% of the teams. Here he has a player like Kylian Mbappe ahead of him, and that's very difficult to overcome for Endrick, but he is young still, of course. I think he will have many minutes from now until the end of the season, and he will leave many great nights at Real Madrid, as he has done today. The first goal is from an absolute star. The finish he has is of an absolute star. He has done 2 or 3 more plays near the area. Spectacular. Weak once again defensively. Lucas Vázquez, it's usual. Weak. Camavinga, by the way, there have been a couple of controversial plays I think that tremendous slap from Ramiro to Bellingham, for me, it's a penalty. I have to say it, but for me, that play is a penalty. I was very surprised that it wasn't called, and I also think there was a play on the wing where a real player could have been sent off for a rather harsh tackle on Vinicius. But well, I don't want to focus too much on the controversy, but I did want to comment on those two plays. Anyway, once again, the Bernabeu has witnessed an epic match. It's tremendous. Here soon to comment on the return match between Real Madrid and Arsenal, which also promises a lot in the Champions League. But Madrid remains alive in all the competitions they still have to play. It's true that it gives the impression of being on the edge permanently. That's the truth, because today they conceded 4 goals again. This is something Ancelotti needs to look into. Madrid conceded 4 goals, no matter how well Real played. They conceded 2 in Leganés. Madrid is reached with danger. They are really threatened quite easily. For Real Madrid, logically, it's something they need to improve if they want to achieve their goals, which they are still aiming for. The treble, of course, the league, the cup, where they are already in the final, and the Champions League, where they are in the quarterfinals. La Liga is behind Barca. Anyway, tomorrow you will have the notes, Friends of the World, Maldini. I want to say goodbye with this tribute to Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad is not having a good season. It's a reality. They are not doing well. They are struggling a lot to score goals. The team is going to have a hard time getting into Europe today. They were close to reaching the Copa del Rey final. They played a very good match. Very good, Real Sociedad. Kubo has improved. The team has been very good, but against Real Madrid, well, that's not enough. Friends of the World, Maldini, that's not enough. Madrid is in the final in a spectacular match. Once again, what a season we are experiencing and what we still have to experience in the world. Maldini. By the way, we closed the month of March with more than 9 million views. More than 9 million views. I am determined that in this month of April, which we are already in, we are going to exceed 10. Thanks to you. Big match tomorrow from the Metropolitano, Atletico de Madrid versus Barça, the other semi-final. A hug, bye.